All right, everyone. So today we're diving into this global trade situation
Yeah,
that's been brewing for a while now,
yeah,
and things seem to have really
yeah.
come to a head just in the past few
It
days.
definitely come to a head. I think that's a good way to put it. It's
Yeah,
definitely escalated and it's moving quickly and
yeah,
it's hard to keep up.
and it's not just about numbers and trade balances and all that stuff. It's like it's
Yeah.
impacting people, like real people, right?
Absolutely. This has real world consequences and it's going to be
Okay.
interesting to see,
Yeah.
how this all plays out, but it
Mhm.
definitely does affect people.
So it's April 9th, 2025.
Yeah.
Set the stage a little bit.
Right.
And
Hmm.
the EU and China have just basically said enough is enough with these U.S. tariffs.
Yeah. I mean, it's been saying that for a while though, haven't they?
They have. They have. They've been talking about it, but now they're like
Yeah.
taking action, right?
Now they're putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak.
Exactly. So today, the European Union
Yeah.
announced these tariffs on 20 billion euros worth of goods coming from the U.S.
20 billion. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of goods.
And then just to make things even more intense,
Hmm.
tomorrow, China's going to
Yeah.
increase their tariffs on all U.S. imports to 84%.
I know. It's getting kind of ridiculous.
It's
to me.
insane.
It's a lot.
84%. So to understand how we got here, we got to rewind a bit.
Okay, rewind.
So the U.S. had already, raised tariffs on EU steel and aluminum, and then they hit China with this
Yeah.
huge 104% tariff on all their imports.
Which is pretty unheard of, right?
It's wild. I mean, it's like they're trying to completely shut down trade.
It feels that way.
Yeah. So we're not just going to, read headlines here.
No.
We're going to actually like unpack all this.
Yeah.
Why is this happening? What could happen next? And, what does it mean for everyone listening?
Exactly, because like we said, it does affect everybody.
So let's start with the EU's move today. 20 billion euros worth of U.S. goods.
All right.
What are we talking about here? Give us some specifics.
So we're talking about a range of things. I mean, everything from soybeans,
Okay.
which is a pretty big deal for the Midwest,
Right.
to motorcycles, I think Harley Davidson.
Oh, yeah. Classic American
Yeah,
icon.
yeah, exactly. Poultry, even beauty products.
Beauty products.
Yeah, I know, crazy, right? Paintings. What? I mean,
Oh,
it's pretty random.
it's all over the place.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to hit a lot of different sectors.
Yeah. Well, it's not random, though.
Well, no, it's probably not random.
Yeah.
They're definitely being strategic about it.
Exactly. So the European Commission, they've actually said that these tariffs could be suspended.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If the U.S. is willing to sit down and have what they're calling a fair chat.
A fair chat.
Yeah. So it's like they're using these tariffs as leverage to try to
Yeah.
force some kind of
Yeah.
negotiation.
Exactly. It's a bargaining chip.
And they're not just hitting, any old products. They're being very specific.
Well, yeah. I mean, like you said, soybeans, that's hitting the Midwest.
Right. Which is like a huge
Which is a big agricultural area.
agricultural hub
Yeah.
and politically important too.
Politically important, too. Exactly.
Yeah. And then motorcycles, like you said, Harley Davidson, another iconic American brand.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they're picking these things that are very, tied to American identity in a way.
Right. So it's like
So it's kind of like a symbolic attack as well as an economic one.
almost like they're saying like, hey, we're going to hit you where it hurts.
Yeah, exactly. Make the American people feel it.
Right. And the timing of these tariffs is also interesting. Some of them are going into effect next week.
Oh, wow, so soon.
Yeah. But others are going to be phased in later this year.
Okay. So it's like a gradual increase in pressure.
Yeah. It's not like one big shock. It's like a
Yeah.
slow burn.
Yeah, it's like a slow burn. Yeah. Which is interesting. I mean, it's
It's a strategy, right?
yeah, it's a strategy.
So these EU tariffs are obviously a response to the U.S. tariffs that were imposed last month.
Right.
The 25% on steel and aluminum from the EU,
Yeah.
and then that broader 20% tariff on a bunch of European goods.
So they're not just doing this out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They're retaliating.
Yeah.
They feel like they've been wronged.
Exactly. They see this as a necessary response.
Right.
And it's pretty clear that some of these EU tariffs are specifically targeted at states that
Oh, yeah.
that tend to support
Yeah.
a certain political party in the U.S.
I mean, that's pretty blatant, isn't it?
It's pretty blatant. They're not even trying to hide it.
No. They're basically trying to use trade as a way to influence U.S. politics,
Right.
which is kind of a dangerous game, I think.
Yeah. I mean, but it is a game, right? It's like
Yeah.
geopolitical chess.
Yeah.
So think about that Harley rider, right? Cruising down the road, maybe in a state that's, known for its political leanings,
Mhm.
and suddenly their bike is more expensive because of these tariffs.
Yeah.
Or that farmer in Iowa
Right.
who can't sell their soybeans to Europe because of these tariffs.
Yeah, and that's real people's livelihoods.
It is.
It's not just numbers on a spreadsheet.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
impacting their bottom line.
Yeah.
It's impacting their lives.
Yeah.
So the EU is definitely playing hardball here.
Yeah, they are.
But China's response, which is coming tomorrow, April 10th, is on a whole other level.
All right, tell me about this.
They're hiking tariffs on all U.S. goods from 34%
Okay.
to 84%.
84%. I mean, that's a huge jump.
Like the massive increase.
Yeah.
And it's on everything.
Yeah. So I mean, that's going to make American products way more expensive in China.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. You're a
Yeah.
Chinese consumer, you go to the store,
Yeah.
and suddenly everything from the U.S. is like
Yeah.
twice as expensive.
Yeah.
Or even more. I mean, that's a huge difference.
It's crazy. And this is coming right after the U.S. raised its tariff on Chinese imports to 104%.
Right. It's like this back and forth.
Like a tick-for-tat
Yeah.
escalation.
Yeah.
And it's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah. No one wants to back down.
No.
It's like a game of chicken.
Exactly. So China's finance ministry has been pretty vocal about this. They're saying that the U.S. is repeatedly making mistakes
Yeah.
and undermining China's interests.
They're not happy.
They're not happy at all.
No.
And they see these U.S. tariffs as unwarranted and damaging to the whole global trading system.
And from their perspective, they might have a point.
Yeah.
I mean, this 104% tariff on China that the U.S. imposed, that wasn't just a one-time thing.
No.
That was like the culmination of a bunch of different tariff increases that had been happening over time.
Yeah. They felt like they were being targeted.
Yeah, like they were being picked on almost.
Wow.
Exactly. And China's response isn't just about raising tariffs.
Oh, really? There's more.
Yeah. They're also targeting specific U.S. companies.
Oh, wow.
Their Commerce Ministry has announced this blacklist of 6 U.S. artificial intelligence companies.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, so it's not just about goods anymore. It's about technology, too.
So they're saying, okay, you want to mess with our economy? We're going to mess with your tech sector.
Exactly. And they're hitting some big names, too, like Shield AI, Sierra Nevada Corp.
Yeah, those are major players.
Yeah, so this is a pretty big deal.
Yeah. So China's definitely sending a message here.
They are. And they're saying that they're prepared to fight to the end.
Oh, wow.
So this doesn't sound like it's going to end anytime soon.
No, it doesn't.
And on the U.S. side,
Yeah.
President Trump has been saying that this is a great time for companies to relocate back to the U.S.
Oh, so he's trying to spin this as a positive.
Yeah, he's saying this is an opportunity to bring jobs back to America.
Right.
But, that's easier said than done.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, it's not that simple.
Right. Moving a whole company is a huge undertaking.
Yeah. And there's supply chains to consider and costs and...
It's complicated.
Yeah, it's very complicated.
So this is definitely not just a U.S. EU China thing.
No.
The whole world is watching this unfold.
The whole world's affected by it.
And the global markets have been reacting pretty dramatically.
Yeah.
Right after the U.S. announced that 104% tariff on China,
Yeah.
stock markets all over Asia and Europe just tanked.
I know. It was crazy to watch.
Japan's Nikkei index dropped almost 4%.
Wow.
Taiwan's market was down nearly 6%.
Yeah.
South Korea's market dipped too, and even Australia's market fell.
Yeah. I mean, no one was immune.
No. And it wasn't just Asia.
Right.
Major European markets like Germany, France, the UK,
Yeah.
they all went down too.
Yeah, it was a global sell-off.
It was. Investors are clearly worried about this trade war.
Yeah, they are. And I think rightfully so. I mean, this has the potential to really derail the global economy.
Yeah. And some economists are even saying that we could be headed for a recession.
It's not a good outlook.
No.
Yeah.
It's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, a lot of uncertainty.
But there was one little glimmer of hope. President Trump mentioned a possible deal with South Korea.
Okay. So maybe there's still a chance for negotiation.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But even if that deal happens, it's not going to solve the bigger problems with the EU and China.
No, those are much bigger issues.
Yeah. So let's just take a step back for a second and talk
Okay.
about tariffs in general.
All right.
What are they? Why do countries use them?
So basically, a tariff is a tax that a government puts on goods that are imported from another country.
Okay.
And the idea is to make those imported goods more expensive
Yeah.
so that people will buy domestic goods instead.
Right. So it's like protecting domestic industries.
Right, protecting domestic industries, creating jobs,
Yeah.
reducing trade deficits.
Right.
That's the theory anyway.
But the EU and China, they don't really buy that argument, do they?
No, not really.
They see these tariffs as unfair and harmful.
Yeah. They say that tariffs just lead to higher prices for consumers.
Right.
And they disrupt trade and they hurt the global economy.
And the EU even offered to get rid of all tariffs on cars and industrial goods if the U.S. would do the same.
Yeah, they did.
But the U.S. hasn't really responded to that offer.
No.
So who's actually going to be hit hardest by these tariffs?
Well, the EU's list is pretty strategic, like we talked about. Soybeans, motorcycles, beauty products, even artwork.
It's a mixed bag.
Yeah. And they're really trying to hit those politically important states in the U.S.
Yeah. And then China's just hitting everything.
Yeah. 84% tariff across the board.
That's going to have a huge impact on a ton of American businesses.
Yeah. Especially those that export a lot of goods to China.
Yeah.
This is a big deal.
So who are the winners and losers in all this?
Honestly, in the short term, I don't think there are any real winners.
No.
Consumers are going to see higher prices.
Businesses are going to face higher costs.
Right.
And the global economy is going to suffer.
Yeah. It's a lose-lose situation.
Pretty much.
And in the long term, well, that's anybody's guess.
Yeah. It's really hard to say what the long-term consequences are going to be.
But it's not looking good.
No, it's not.
So we've talked about a lot of complicated stuff today.
We have.
But let's just bring it back to you, the listener.
Okay.
We've seen how a disagreement over something like steel and aluminum can turn into a full-blown trade war.
Yeah. And a trade war that's affecting everything from the price of your Harley-Davidson to the price of your lipstick.
Exactly. And it's not just about prices either.
No.
This is about global markets.
Yeah.
It's about economic stability. It's about the future of international trade.
And it's about people's livelihoods.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want you to think about this.
Okay.
Are these escalating trade tensions just a temporary blip?
Yeah.
Or are they a sign of a much bigger shift in global trade? It's a good question. And honestly, I don't have the answer.
I don't think anybody does.
But it's something we all need to be paying attention to.
Absolutely. So stay informed.
Yeah.
Stay engaged. And stay tuned as this story continues to unfold.
Because it's not over yet.
No, it's definitely not over yet.